Hey guys, Ponce here on the PBE, here to talk to you guys about some Graves nerfs. Now this really shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone if you've been paying any attention to League of Legends at all, but yeah, well, first before we go into sort of my thoughts on this, let's go over the actual, like, what was been changed with Graves. So is Q the second part of the ability, so like that blowback part of the thing, that the base damage has been lowered. It used to be 85, 145, 205, 265, and caps out at 325 damage. Now that's been lowered to 80, 125, 170, 216, 260. So it starts off not as much of a nerf at the lower levels, and then the final rank, it actually deals 65 less damage. So in terms of sort of base numbers, that's actually really high. Normally you don't see sort of base number nerfs that high. Aside from that, the detonation thing, so when it explodes and hits a wall, there's now a slight delay between when it hits a wall and when it explodes. So I'll show you guys right here. It's kind of like, it's not hard to notice, but you gotta kind of be paying attention. Normally that would have gone like hit the one, exploded instantly, going and come back right at you. Now there is a 0.25 second delay. So I mean, if it's a short, like the delay in and of itself is not really going to make it like you can dodge it, but when you factor in travel time, that should give like at least probably, I'm assuming the idea here is like giving at least a small window of counterplay. So it's not going to be the easiest thing to dodge ever if someone, like, you know, actually manages to hit a wall with this. But you know, you consider, you watch when the animation starts, so that should give enough time, just barely enough time for someone to move like sideways if you move while he starts his animation, kind of thing. Now of course this has nothing to do with the if it doesn't hit a wall thing, like let me show you guys. Shoot it off, I mean that's just gonna blow up the same way anyway. So yeah, if you're interested in the actual numbers and stuff, I've put those in the description below, probably somewhere below the link to my twitch.tv thing, which incidentally, if you're watching this video, I'll be streaming right after uploading it. But anyway, Graves, yeah, I mean, normally I'm not, you know, one for like kind of paying too much attention to like win ratios and that sort of stuff. It's a bit more, you know, complicated, and this champion has a high win ratio, therefore he's too good, kind of thing. In Graves' case, I know there's this thing floating around, some alleged statistic saying he has the highest win ratio in 3 separate roles. In this case, it probably does mean something, because, you know, I have played Graves well. I know how good he is. He's kind of absurd in that he sort of combines the best of both worlds of an AD carry and a bruiser. In fact, I personally feel he functions a lot more like a bruiser than an AD carry at this point. And just deals absurd amounts of damage. Now, is this nerf appropriate? I'm not entirely certain, because I haven't played this out on the PBE. It might be. Like, Graves, as kind of absurd as his damage is, the thing is, he does need high damage, because he's not entirely, I said he functions like a bruiser, but he's not entirely like a bruiser in that he's not super tanky. But he still is an AD carry that functions at short range. So if he doesn't have the high damage to compensate the fact that he is short range and his auto attacks can be body blocked and stuff like that, it's kind of like, well, why do you play Graves? So it's a very, very delicate sort of balancing thing, like a lot more delicate than I think people realize when they look at him and go, he's got such stupid damage. Why don't they just lower it? Well, if you lower Graves' damage too much, then it just becomes a case of, well, why play Graves at all? I'll just, you know, play Caitlyn or, you know, something like that. So, I don't know. We'll see if this is enough. I mean, it might be. Certainly, like, if a person's not paying attention, this whole thing with the delay isn't going to be much of a nerf. The base damage nerf is quite high on the second part of the Q. That definitely did need to be toned down. If I recall correctly, it actually has higher damage than the ult a lot of the time. So yeah, well, anyway, that's what we have. That's what we're working with here. That's Graves. I should also probably note that I do enjoy playing Graves. He's basically the only AD carry that I enjoy playing, really. So it'll be nice to, you know, be able to, I guess, sort of play him again without feeling guilty, I suppose, of just kind of spamming a flavor of the month type character. And of course, he'll most likely be less banned now. Regardless, that's an interesting feature. This is a bit of an aside, but an interesting sort of feature about, or side effect of nerfs and stuff, is that regardless of whether or not something is a substantial nerf, when people see the word nerf, they almost immediately stop playing the champion, regardless of whether or not the champion is viable or not viable. But so most likely people will probably be playing Graves slightly less, unless this nerf is just so pitiful and it doesn't address the issue at all. But I imagine it will, because he does need a sort of a chopping off of his damage somewhere. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you around, perhaps in the stream, twitch.tv/bots.